Hi, if you're new here, my name is Becca. I'm a writer. I'm currently working on my upmarket fiction novel going under the name Project Eden. It's a 90s East Coast autumn-inspired ghost story, and if you're not new, hi, it's good to see you again. I inadvertently disappeared for a little bit. That was not my intention, but I'm kind of glad that I did because I feel like I needed a big physical, mental, emotional reset. I ended up getting really sick at the end of the year as well, and I was looking at my 2025 goals video from last year, and it seems like I always get sick around the end of the year, so I need to mentally start preparing for that. Not that I need any pity or excuses, I'm just letting y'all know. I know you understand. I'm also 24 weeks pregnant at this point, so it's like my energy comes and goes. But welcome back to another video. I don't really know what this is gonna be. I just know that I haven't felt in the headspace to vlog. I have had 2 videos filmed and edited and hated both of them. I've started this vlog like 4 times already and hated it. And I've just been in a weird spot with like social media, and I felt like I needed a break. I felt like I needed a break from the book as well. I did make quite a bit of progress on editing the last few chapters, the second half of the book. And I'm on chapter 14 right now. And this one kind of threw a wrench into things because I realized that I had to rewrite the entire chapter and in a different perspective than the original one. So it's fine, it's for the better, but it is a lot more work. So it's been kind of harder for me to mentally get into things. I guess we'll just keep going with a writing update, but you may have noticed that I'm no longer calling the project Glass Paradise. If you have been watching from the beginning, you will know that I've never really vibed with that title. To me, it's really like a nothing burger of a title. So I went to my friends in the Discord and was like, girls, I hate this. Please help me figure out something else because this is not working. And we did come up with a title. I actually really, really love it. I'm not gonna share it because I do want it to be kind of a surprise. And what was interesting is that I originally had a mood board for the story. So this is the original mood board for Project Eden. And as I went through the draft and as I unearthed new themes, new topics, new character dynamics, I've realized that this mood board doesn't really suit the story anymore. It's giving rom-com, it's giving like really cozy, which the book still is cozy, but this is the new mood board. There's a lot more richer colors, a lot more contrast. It's a little bit heavier, and I feel like this reflects the story so much better. And it's just interesting to see how the story or like any project that you're working on can evolve over time. So that was like really cool to see. It's officially been over a year since I started working on this project, and we're gonna get into kind of like my 2025 recap and like wrap up, and also what I'm planning to do with this year in a little bit. But I just wanted to intro the video. I think this is just gonna be kind of like a week in my life style video. I think I want this video to focus a little bit on me developing my plan for this year. I feel like there's always a lot of pressure to have the coming year planned out in that week between Christmas and New Year's. I'm not gonna be rebranding, although I did kind of tweak my branding for my web, for like my YouTube and stuff like that. I'm not really focusing on rebranding or doing any of that this year. I actually feel really happy with who I am right now. I think the things I want to focus on moving forward are just kind of like, how can I continue to set myself up for success and start thinking critically about these things that I want to accomplish? How do I take things seriously without burning myself out and make time for everything? Also recognizing that I'm gonna have a baby in April, and so everything that I come up with for the next 3 months might go completely out the window. Who knows? Today is my first day back at work after 2 weeks. So I feel like I needed to cross that mental hurdle before I could do anything else. I really don't know how much writing I'm gonna get done this week. I'm just gonna take it one thing at a time. But I'm very excited to see you guys again. I also just wanna give you guys like a big thank you for showing a lot of love and support on my last video. I think part of the reason I was also a little hesitant to like film anything was because whenever a video does really well like that, I feel a lot of pressure to capitalize on it. and I didn't want to do that. I felt like it also went against a lot of the things that I was saying in that video about wanting to live a little bit more like offline and not feeling guilty about it. So I just wanted to say thank you. I know there's a lot of new faces here. This video is definitely more of like what I post on a regular basis. So I really hope you guys enjoy. I'm ready to get back into it. I'm ready. I don't feel as overwhelmed anymore. So I am going to keep going with my work stuff. Luckily, it's not a ton, but I do have quite a few gifts to put in. I think we crushed our end of year goal, which is incredible because I was really worried that we weren't going to, but the strategy for this year ended up working out, which is awesome. So I'm gonna get back to work and I will talk to you guys later. I am gonna be transparent. I am not mentally or emotionally prepared to talk to a camera today, but I want to, so I'm gonna try. And we're gonna go over my 2025 goals and stats and then what I'm hoping to do with this year. I'm gonna keep it really brief because as much as I love watching these videos, I don't find mine all that interesting, which is why I've chosen to integrate it into a vlog. But yeah, I have had a morning already. If you don't already know, you should already know by the time this video goes out, and the first episode should be live by the time this video goes up. But Emily and I are launching a podcast together. It's called Speaking in Draft. We are very excited about this project. We've been working on it for like a couple of months. Basically, Emily and I talk almost exclusively on a weekly basis about our projects, writing, craft, like everything that we're discovering as we're going through this journey of writing our books. And we thought, what a great way to bring in both of our communities and open these bigger discussions up to our audiences by utilizing a podcast format. It's a learning curve, but that's okay. We're gonna go over a couple of statistics from last year, a couple of goals. I never really find the value of doing a bit of a recap until I'm actually in it, because there were a few statistics in here that really surprised me and helped me put into perspective a lot of the work that I had put in over the last year. It's kind of no secret if you've been on my channel for a while that draft 3 of my current project has felt like a bit of a slog. Revisions are definitely brand new to me. I'm definitely more adept at the drafting process because that's where I have been for the last 3 years throughout various projects. So revisions definitely felt very daunting to me. But let's go over the goals that I had for 2025, which are actually documented. I will link the video somewhere up here. Also, it's so funny to see myself from a year ago. The first one that I had was to get Eden query ready. In what universe? Oh my God. That was so optimistic. And to be fair, I have that on my list of things that I want to do again this year, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I think if anything, the past year showed me how to slow down, even though I still want to try and get the draft as query ready as possible. I think slowing down and really analyzing what was and wasn't working for my book was really important for me to understand how to make it better. I want to have a good book to query with. I don't just want to get something done to query. So I think it was a big learning curve for me, and the fact that like things just do take time, and I have become a lot more comfortable with the idea of this process taking longer than I thought. If I spend 2 to 3 years on this book trying to make it as good as I can, I am going to try and take advantage of that, and each draft is getting me closer to getting query ready. So I failed, but I also didn't, if that makes sense. In my mind, that's how I'm viewing it. I'm very proud of the fact that even though I didn't technically achieve this goal, I made significant strides to achieve this goal, and I learned in the process how to give myself a lot of grace and figure out what was actually important to me. I'm also never gonna have this opportunity again if this book actually does, and if I end up getting agented, if this is where my author career starts, I might not get this opportunity again to just linger with the book the way that I have been able to linger with Eden. So I'm just trying to like savor the process as much as possible. I wanted to prep for NaNoWriMo. That didn't happen. I tried to do nano, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Respectfully, I had some life stuff come up. Obviously, I was, I am pregnant, so there's just like a lot that I have to deal with mentally in terms of my energy levels are all over the place on a day-to-day basis, so I couldn't really do everything that I wanted to, but that's okay. I also wanted to publish a short story, did not do that. Eden took up every ounce and iota of energy and brain power that I had within me. And that's not to say I didn't have ideas for short stories. It's just I had a lot creatively this last year that I wanted to do and didn't get to do and tried to prioritize, and that ate into some writing time. And that was also definitely a learning curve for me and a learning experience in terms of like how I want to balance my writing versus my content, and how I continue to cultivate a healthy relationship between the two when my writing and my writing journey is my content. And then the 3 goals that I actually did succeed at last year was, the first was to build main character energy. I sat with this one for a minute because I thought I had an idea of how I wanted to do this, and I actually ended up doing it completely differently. I think when I said this initially, I really wanted to just kind of take ownership of my life, be a little bit more like bold in who I was and what I was doing. And while I did do some of that, there were some things that happened kind of quietly in the background. And I don't know if this is just something that happens as you get older, but I just felt a lot more sure of who I was and what I was doing. I did have moments of doubt. Obviously, we all have moments of doubt. But I think there is something about getting older and being unapologetically yourself and having a good community of people around you, where I just felt like there were so many moments in my life this year where I felt like, oh my God, this is the life that I've built. I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of the people I've surrounded myself with, the things that I'm pushing myself to do. And I think in that sense, I definitely felt like the main character of my own life. In my last video, intentionality versus passivity was something that I really talked about. It wasn't until I was kind of starting to figure out how to implement that into my day-to-day life moving forward that I realized how much I was already doing that just because of the way that I was acting and moving in 2025. I think there's also something to be said about this is the first year where I didn't feel the need to rebrand or refresh myself. I just felt like I could build upon the foundation that I have been building as a person over the last few years, and to be at a place where I'm finally happy with who I am and how I've grown and what I've done. It just kind of feels like I've been waiting my whole life to feel like this, and I'm so grateful that I finally reached that point to where I feel like I'm just improving on something that I already love, which is me. The second goal I accomplished was planning a writing retreat. We went on a writing retreat in May with a bunch of my friends here from AuthorTube, which you can watch the video here. That was probably one of the most main character moments of my life. I had so much fun on that trip. I also managed to finish the second draft of Eden on that trip. I just felt like it was one of those moments in my life that was so magical and so special, and something that I will look back fondly on forever. And it's one of the reasons, why I started this channel, and being able to document that and have that moment and that weekend of my life encapsulated is so special. I am so forever grateful that we actually made that a reality, and I really want to plan another writing retreat this year, so I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting to do that again sometime in the future. The last thing I did manage to accomplish this year was starting a Substack. Even though I wasn't fully active on it the way that I wanted to be, I'm glad I did it, because I think it was a great way for me to really think about how I wanted to articulate a lot of my feelings regarding not only the writing process, but my life, the things in my life that I'm enjoying, how I'm feeling, how failure has shaped me. I would love to say that I want to engage my Substack a lot more in 2026 realistically, with what I want to accomplish on the long form writing front, I don't think that's going to be able to happen. I felt kind of silly because I announced a lot of like Substack membership opportunities, and I had to renege on that and pull back because I love content creation, but when it's not my full-time job, it's very hard to balance a 9-to-5 creating content, monetizing your content, and then also working on a long form project like a book. So while I'm glad I have the Substack and I do still want to do a monthly or quarterly newsletter even, it has to take a backseat right now. Now let's get into some writing statistics. I finished the first draft of Eden at the end of January. By that point, right before January started, I had about 30,000 words of the draft, and I added another 20 in the month of January. By May, I had finished my second draft. That was a complete rewrite. I ended that draft at 89,000 words. As I mentioned, I'm in the middle of revising draft 3 of Eden, and I have since added roughly 10,000 words to that draft as well. But I will put the total number of words that I wrote this year here. I never thought I would write this much ever in my life. I know it's hovering over 100,000 words. I think more than anything, I just feel proud to have put so much time and effort and energy into something and like gone through the effort of sitting with it and struggling with it and figuring out what makes it tick, what's the heart of it, why do I want to keep telling this story. It's really pushed me as a writer and as a person. It's just so cool, and it's really encouraged me to take better care of my writing statistics for this year. I'm so happy I decided to make this a practice in my life because it has definitely pushed me for the better. In terms of YouTube statistics, we had a really good growth year in 2025. Couldn't even remember what year it was last year. Over the course of last year, we had 178,000 channel views. I had 25.5 thousand watch hours. I grew about 4,000 subscribers, and I made roughly $1,269.45 from ad revenue. That is not counting my brand partnerships, which as someone who has wanted to get into content for years and is finally doing it and is finally getting some traction and seeing some real growth, I really thought it would take me so much longer to make any sort of money from social media. If there's one thing that I learned is that I kind of approached it very laissez-faire last year. It was my first year kind of monetizing and making money off the things that I was making. I think this year I have much more hard and fast financial goals when it comes to my social media and how I'm managing that money. The big eye-opener this year was that what I'm doing is working. Honestly, the fact that I grew 4,000 subs was also something that stuck with me because for so much of this year, I felt really stagnant. I felt like my videos weren't very good. I felt like I wasn't really reaching people in the same way. And I had 2 videos do very well this year. Both of them got over 25,000 views. That helps significantly, especially in terms of ad revenue, watch time, impressions, growth. Yes, those big videos are super helpful, but I have never been somebody that wanted explosive growth. I prefer to grow low and slow. I'm like a crock pot. I like to take my time with things. The first time one of my videos did well and it got, I think it's at 27,000 views, I actually got really scared because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that many people are watching me. And now my last video is at almost 40,000 views, and I'm in a much better headspace to kind of mitigate the kind of comments I get on that, because not all of them are great. Some of them are very snarky, or just be okay with that number of people perceiving me. I think that's something that's really difficult about content creation that you don't really think about. And when everyone's like, I just want a video to get like 20,000 views, and on TikTok where it's like, it's easy for those videos to blow up exponentially, it's a weird feeling. And there's a lot of pressure to feel like you have to jump on some sort of like creative hamster wheel when that starts, where you have to take advantage of that momentum. And I think I mentioned this in the beginning of this video, but like I stopped, I took a break, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a beat. I'm really glad that that video did well. I'm glad it resonated with a lot of people. And I'm glad that as a person, I was able to recognize that I didn't want to start subjecting myself to a sort of spiral of content creation or like checking analytics, because it's a whole other thing once you start making videos, is just becoming obsessed with your analytics. I'm gonna get back to work, but I will talk to you guys later.
I actually like cooking, so this year I want to embrace cooking, okay? But this year I am self-studying.
not 14.
Friends over for New Year's Eve for a party, and currently I am not in the headspace to throw a party, so let's hope that tomorrow I can turn things around.
Them a lychee, but like, honestly, whatever. If someone told me that that's lychee, I'd probably believe them. And then I also got Arizona iced tea.
Hello, it is just past 5. It is pitch dark outside, and I actually feel well enough to do some writing sprints, so I'm going to indulge in an everything shower and then do some writing tonight. So let's go ahead and get nice and cozy for the evening. Welcome to Friday. It's a little bit past 9. I have been up since 6. I didn't get out of bed until 7, but I made some breakfast, some coffee, and I've just been editing this video actually. I'm very excited for today. I feel like I could not have asked for a better week to go back to work. It was very relaxed, very chill. It was actually kind of nice to get out of the house after 2 weeks of fully and necessarily couch and bed rotting over the holidays, because Edwin and I didn't end up traveling anywhere. It was just the two of us. Since this was our last Christmas, just the two of us, we wanted to just be with each other, be present, and just relax before, I'm pretty sure, years of holiday travel with a baby. It was nice to get dressed, put on real clothes, get out of the house, and just kind of get into a little bit of a routine again. And I think that's what I've been really trying to focus on this week, is like slowly starting to reincorporate and figure out the kind of routines that I want to build moving forward. I feel like as a 32-year-old, I should have a better grasp on, I'm not 32 yet, I will be in March, but I do feel like I should have a better grasp of my routines and what works for me and how to set myself up for success a little bit better. I think one thing I really struggle with, and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit, is like mentally juggling everything that I have going on and feeling like I'm doing any of it well. And I think that comes from, I think obviously just having a lot to do, but also from not really having a plan for my days or my weeks. Like I can plan out a day in the morning, but like there's just so many little details. Like I washed my hair last night so that I could do my hair for this video and be more put together, and just like I need to take a picture for the thumbnail, and like there's just like so many little details and decisions that need to get made that I think about, I guess. But yeah, it was just like a very nice, quiet, easy week to kind of get back into things. I feel very, very good about where I'm at right now. And like I said before, I just kind of want to build upon that. But I wanted to do a very quick little update because there's a few things that I want to talk about. Obviously, we're going to discuss my goals for 2026 because I didn't really do that while I was talking about my 2025 recap. Now, it's kind of intentional. I thought it would be kind of nice to break it up, but I wanted to go through a couple of favorites recently because I haven't had a chance to talk about that. So you may have noticed in the clip from when I was on my way home from work the other day, this is now my baby. I love having a husband that gets it. This was my Christmas gift from Edwin, and he ended up getting me a Nintendo DS Lite. Originally, I was looking at the Game Boy Advance because that's what I had grown up using, but I didn't realize that the DS Lite, you can play DS games and Game Boy Advance games. So I have two in here right now. I have Animal Crossing Wild World, which I just purchased off eBay and I just got it on Wednesday. And I have my Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I did actually end up rehousing the unit myself. I took the entire thing apart and put this new case on it essentially. Was it hard? No. Was it tedious? Yes. Did I mess up the connection to the top screen and think I broke it? Yes. Did I also, wow, there's a lot with this project. The screws were not labeled when I did this project, so I accidentally put some of the wrong screws in places, which is why like I put the wrong screw in, it like wore away the housing a little bit. And then on the cover I have a little bit of a, as my dad would say, chivo on the front, but they're not really that noticeable. The original one that Edwin got me was pink, and I actually really liked the pink, so I just went more with like this is like a cherry blossom pink instead of the pink that originally came. But I've been loving this. I love this so much. This has lasted me 2 weeks on a single charge and it's been so much fun. So I take this with me basically everywhere now, so I've been loving her. And then I want to talk about notebooks and journal ecosystems because I'm still kind of building out my journal ecosystem. So I mentioned in my last video that I have my little Passport Traveler's notebook. I love this thing. This goes with me everywhere. This is less for like planning and more like a life book. So I have 4 notebooks in here. I have my diary, my junk journal. I have like an expense tracker. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, treat yourself. Like, you have the money, just go ahead and buy it, do it, hit buy, like whatever. Even with really small transactions, that tends to kind of pile up. So I'm trying to be a lot more conscious of where and how I'm spending my money. So I have that tracker, and then I have this like field notebook in the back, and I'm trying to decide if I want to use this as like my task manager for the day. I did also order one from Amazon to be more of like a life planner. It's also this same kind of passport style, but it's an A5. I also have the inserts for it. I'm trying to figure out how that one can really be used for productivity, content brainstorming. I don't want to go more than 2 or 3, but I do want to share the third one that I have, which I really want to give a shout out to Clever Fox for partnering me with this little portion of the video. They very kindly reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try out one of their planners, so I said yes. So this is the premium weekly planner in forest green. One of the things that I really like about this planner is, number one, she's chunky. and she has a pen loop. I love a pen loop. But I do like the way that this is kind of broken down. It's got your weekly spread, your main goals for the week, your priorities for the week. It's got a little spot of like dotted grid lines. So if you wanna, I think just customize it however you want. It's got a personal to-do list, wins, areas for reflections for improvement over the next week, and then like a habit tracker as well. I think I might actually use this more as like my work organization notebook. This seems a little bit excessive, I know, but I've had a lot of success separating work tasks from life admin and content tasks. So I think I might use this as like my work planner. I love how thick the pages are. I have been really into using like fountain pens and a little bit of like a thicker, heavier ink when I'm working. And I feel like this paper is gonna hold up really, really well when it comes to all of my planning. The other thing that I really like is that it has like a goals section in the front. So if you wanna look at that, the months are also in the front. I think this is undated. So if you like don't use it for a week or don't use it for a month, you can still keep using it when you do decide to pick it up. I do also really like, this is such a small thing, but I love when a planner has like this little band to just like keep it closed. I switch my bags out so much that I tend to throw things around, and I'm trying to do a better job of like protecting the things that I have. But this is such a beautiful planner. It feels really high quality. I love the color as well. I'm trying to be a little bit more adventurous with colors in my like toolkit, in my wardrobe, and just kind of like all aspects of my life, because I tend to gravitate towards neutrals. I love it. I can't wait to start using it. I'm gonna start using it for work here in a little bit once things actually start to pick up. I feel like having a journal ecosystem has actually been really nice for me to just get all of my thoughts out in a way that's not a screen. I was using my Notion for a little bit at the start of the year, and then I was like, no, the whole point is to like get away from that. I think this brings us to a good kind of closing point, which is my goals for 2026. They are nothing revolutionary. I want to use them more as benchmarks for how I'm living, as opposed to this like idealized version of myself that I'm building. The first goal that I have for this year is just be more money conscious. As I said, I'm starting to take real good inventory of where I'm actually spending my money and how often. I think that's something that we kind of take for granted. I know I specifically take that for granted, so I just want to be a little bit more responsible about my spending, and that includes like being proactive with like certain bills and things and expenses, like trying to think of things that might crop up and actually set aside savings and plan for that. I feel silly saying that as someone that has crossed the threshold to 30, but that is where I am at. The second goal that I have for this year is to welcome my baby. I am due at the end of April. It's quickly approaching. We're already in January. We've got 4 more months to go. There is a lot that's sort of encapsulated in this goal, and one of the things that I really want to focus is less on a birth plan, because respectfully, my birth plan is to just push this baby out and survive. One of the things that I'm really trying to focus on is my postpartum plan. How am I going to take care of myself after this baby's here? What kind of support am I going to need? How can I like stay flexible during this time in my life while also like advocate for the things that I want? How am I going to take care of myself? Part of that is just like having conversations with different women in my life that have had kids. My friend Melissa recently just gave birth to her baby in November. I've really gotten close to her, and she's a fellow writer friend, and so I'm really just trying to make sure, like I've talked a lot about being a villager for other people to build my village and our communal village, so that's been really important to me. Andy also just announced that she's pregnant. If you don't follow Andy Sears here on AuthorTube as well, she's having a little girl, and we're both due around the same time. Luckily, we live kind of close to each other as well. We've been reaching out, kind of talking intermittently throughout our pregnancies and just kind of being supportive to each other, and I'm so excited for Andy and this journey that she's on, trying to think of ways that I can not only support myself in my postpartum journey, but other people as well. I think that's really important. I think when you are also practicing being a source of patience and kindness and understanding for other people, you learn how to also be that for yourself, and I think that's really important. In terms of writing, I think I would really like to get the draft to a place where I can send it to readers before I go on maternity leave. I don't want to write, I don't want to film, I don't want to do anything in the 3 months after I give birth. So I'm just trying to do my best to kind of set myself up for success in that area as well. I think the biggest thing that I could do to give myself peace of mind is just to remain as flexible as possible. If I don't, I will have still made strides in trying to get that done and accomplished. And then the only other goal that I have really is just to want to do the best that I can, and I want to build a life that I'm proud of, and I just want to be present and cognizant of the moments that I'm in with the people that I am in them with. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better of that, and I just want to keep carrying that on into the new year and into this whole new stage of life. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a really good year. I'm nothing but optimistic. I already have some travel plans kind of slated, which is really exciting. And even though we are probably gonna have a baby, most definitely gonna have a baby for most of those travel plans, I'm trying not to stress. I'm just trying to do the best that I can, and that's all that I can do. So with that being said, I'm going to hop on to some work. I have a very slow work day today, actually. So what I think I might do is just stay on top of my tasks. I need to finish editing this video by tonight, and then probably write in between pockets of free time today. I have not made a lot of significant progress on chapter 14, which, what can you do? What can you do? I'm trying not to crash out over this book for like the millionth time, but I'm doing what I can. Hello, it is voiceover Becca here to close out this random little vlog. I found myself wishing that I had been a little bit more productive this week. I found myself wishing that I had done more work on my book, that I had shown up differently on camera, that I had done all of these different things. But this is, you know, to quote my own self, this is me doing my best. And I need to learn this year that I do not need to be productive all of the time to have self-worth, to make progress on my goals, to achieve my dreams. Rest is a huge part of being able to come at things with 100% of your energy, and I have never really been good at that, so let that be a lesson to me in the new year. But I just wanted to say thank you all so much for being here for another year. I am so excited about the growth of this channel and just meeting all of you in my comments and my Instagram DMs. If you haven't already, please be sure to check out mine and Emily's podcast. I'm going to have it linked in the description down below. But until then, I am rooting for you, and I hope you have a fantastic start to your 2026. I'll see you in the next one.